So, welcome to the week. Before we go into the reading, I will talk you through the spread that I have for you this week, and then we'll go ahead and pull some cards. So, this week, the spread is based on, at the beginning of the year, I pulled a couple of cards, and this actually I'll talk you through. It's a really nice 2-card practice to set intentions and invite in energies for a particular period of time. So I used it at the beginning of the year for the whole of this year, and we'll be adapting that and including it into our reading for the week ahead. And basically, I chose consciously a card that I wanted to invite in for the year. So for me, that was the Queen of Pentacles. That's a card I've worked with for many, many years now, and I always want more of that Queen of Pentacles energy. And then I asked my deck for a card which could help me to invite in that Queen of Pentacles energy. And I got the Three of Pentacles, and the deck I used was the Spacious Tarot, which has roots coming out of the Three of Pentacles. So I've decided to include a grounding practice in my day every day. Now, I always do some kind of practice every day, and because I do so many different types of meditation and self-care practices, I found that trying to fit them all into the day became, a stress. It's just like another to-do list. So for this year, I gave myself permission to have one or two practices that I stick by every day, and then the others at the right time. And so because of this Three of Pentacles, I decided to bring in this grounding practice. And how that works is that sometimes there are some days where I am tired or sick or don't have the energy. And on those days, I'm very fortunate because my house is built into a hillside. So my bedroom's actually, the back of it is half in the earth. So it's very, very easy to just go and lie and rest and allow my body to rest and sense into the hillside and feel the earth energy and ground in that way. But on the days when I have more energy and more strength, I like to go out cycling. As some of you know who have known me for a couple of years, in the last couple of years, I've lost a lot of my mobility. So I don't go hiking anymore, but I can go cycling. And so what I do is I hop on my bike, and when I get to a nice, likely looking tree, I hop off my bike and I sit underneath it and I meditate with the tree, with the earth below me, with the surroundings that I'm in. And although obviously I've been doing this practice in various ways for a long, long time now, but I've committed this year to doing it every single day in some way. And already in the 3 or so weeks from the start of the year, I've started to discover, well, firstly, it's been very rejuvenating because of the mobility loss in the last couple of years. It's only now that I'm really getting out and about. So that's very rejuvenating for me. But I'm also discovering or rediscovering the energy of the trees, the nature of the trees, the fact that I belong in this nature as we all belong in this nature. And by tuning in, by doing this grounding practice, by working with trees particularly, but with earth energy more generally, I find that I am more able to trust that I am living in my purpose and reminded of all the ways that I am living in my purpose, rather than going into this whole narrative, which I sometimes get in my head, and you may recognize this, of like, oh, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and all, all these other sort of stories that go on. And when I'm doing this practice, I find that actually I'm remembering that firstly, I don't have to carry the weight of the whole world on my shoulders. I just carry a bit of it, and some other people carry a bit of it, and between us we manage it. But also that I am in alignment with my purpose. and the energy, the work that I put into the world is enough. So this practice has been quite transformative, and I wanted to invite that transformation, or that reminder. I wanted to invite that into our reading today. So that is our first 5 positions in the spread. So we have the objective. For me, that was the Queen of Pentacles. I am going to allow the cards to offer us an objective for the week, and trust that everybody here will tune into it, attune to it in the way that is right for you. And then underneath that we have consistency. So this is what consistency helps you to align with that objective. So for me, that was this sort of earth energy coming in and reminding me that, you know, the objective is already there and I don't have to do very much at all to align to it. And so what can we do this week with consistency that aligns us to our objective? Then we have these 3 positions here. So at the bottom we have commitment. This is very similar to consistency. What commitments can we make towards our objective? And when we make those commitments and when we meet those commitments, something about the truth of the universe may be revealed, and something about purpose, our purpose, may also be revealed or made easier to reach for us. So that's this trio of positions here. And then we have resources, so what resources are available to us this week, and we have guidance. So this position might give us some guidance, or it might let us know where we can look for guidance. And then finally, there's all this stuff that's feels like quite big stuff, these positions. And so we have a position here that's actually, how are you? So this position will hold space for you to check in with how you are as you come into the week, and what's affecting you as you come into the week, so that you can get the absolute best out of all these other things that are around. So that's our spread for the week. Okay, so I'm using a version of the Rider Waite Smith today. It's my nice colourful version that I bought in Turkey about a few years ago now anyway. So I'll invite you to take a deep breath and just go inwards and ask to receive what you need. And if there is something that you are working with or working through at the moment, you can bring that to mind. And if you just want guidance for the week, to invite whatever you need to come in, then you can do that. The first card then, the objective. What is the most important objective this week? And we've got the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is someone who is very energetic, very responsive, maybe even reactive. So as the objective card for our week, the Knight of Swords is all of these wonderful positive qualities of the Knight of Swords come through. So the Knight of Swords will respond very, very quickly to situations. So you see this kind of charging in on a horse, this person charging in on a horse, and you know, that's what knights do, right? They charge about, don't they? And particularly the Knight of Swords does this, and that is about quick movement, quick responses. So the Knight of Swords isn't necessarily thinking, but is acting instead. Although the swords is the suit of mental energy of the mind, so there will be some thoughts going on as well. we have an invitation here, or what we have in the Knight of Swords is a gift of a card that gives us energy to take action, to do things. So anyone who's been feeling a little bit stuck or wondering if now is the right time to do a particular action, yes, move forwards. The Knight of Swords helps us to move forwards and helps us to find the energy and the motivation for the things that are really important. And the Knight of Swords also stands up. The swords are the suit of things like truths and justice. And the Knight of Swords is a little bit of a rescuer sometimes, or certainly stands up for themselves and for other people. So perhaps that is part of this week's objective as well, to stand up for your truth, for what is right for you. So that's our objective this week. And again, because that is in the position of our objective, the Knight of Swords is really showing up in a very positive way there, with all of their most positive energy. Consistency. What can we do with consistency that can allow us to access this Knight of Swords energy, to access this movement and energy and action, this forward motion? And we have here, it's a Major Arcana card, the Emperor. So this is Major Arcana card number 4, the Emperor. So the Major Arcana are, they are the suit of big life lessons, spiritual lessons, big energies in the psyche, big archetypes and big energies around us, all of these. And the Emperor is all about structure and power. Here is the Emperor seated on their throne. And the Emperor is someone who has perhaps the most power. And you can see that the Emperor, it's interesting that we have the Knight of Swords there in their red cloak, and the Emperor here. Emperor looks a bit older than the Knight of Swords, but is also wearing armour and a red cloak. So perhaps for us in this position of consistency, what we have actually is an invitation when wanting to take action, when wanting to move forwards, to perhaps go to the people, and this can be ourselves as well, those parts of ourselves who have done it before. Yeah, so this is someone with more experience than that Knight of Swords, who knows how to get that movement happening, who can get up and move when they need to, when it's appropriate. And of course there is that structure, so it's not just, yeah, I've got my horse, I'm going to go charging off into whatever it is. It's more a case of, okay, this is what we need to do to get over there. This is how we need to move to be able to have speed or efficiency or whatever it is. So finding that wisdom, that experience, both within yourself and around you, can be very, very helpful this week. And if there is something that you want to move forwards with, and there are, it has been done before, and they say everything in the world's been done before, one way or another, then what structures have been set up already by the people who have done it before, or by yourself when you've done that before? And how easily can you access those structures to help you to move forwards? So that's our consistency. And then our commitment, how can we commit to our objective this week? And we have the Nine of Wands. So Wands is a card of fire and is the suit of fire, creativity, inspiration. And the Nine of Wands is towards the end of that pip card cycle, but not quite there yet. And what you see here is someone who has quite literally been in the wars, as they say. You can see they've got a bandaged head, and they are sort of holding one of those wands as if to use it to protect themselves. There's also a wall of wands behind them. So this is about using the resources that we have. You see here this person has chosen a wand from the wall of wands behind them. They're using the resources that they have available to them, and they are shaping them to the need that they have. So this is telling us to commit in ways that use what we already have. We don't need to go out and seek something new. We may need to repurpose something, again, internal or external, as a resource that we can use towards our objective. And it might be different every time, and it might be similar every time. The other thing with wands is this can be about energy work. So, you know, sending a bit of energy towards what you want to achieve this week. We have the invitation to achieve. So sending a bit of energy that way is not a bad thing. And then finally, because we do have this person looking like they are perhaps a bit defensive, don't know whether they need to be or not, and they have this wall of wands which can be like a boundary, they're guarding a boundary. It's a reminder to check in with our boundaries as well this week, whether that be our sort of energetic boundaries, our psychological boundaries, our behavioural boundaries, what is and isn't okay. So that's our commitment this week. What truth then, as we make this commitment, or as we adhere to, so commit to ourselves with these practices, what truth might we be able to have access to? And it's another 9, which is interesting in itself. This is the 9 of Cups. So the Cups is the suit of the heart, the emotions, water. So we've got air, fire and water so far, as well as spirit in this reading. And the 9 of Cups is a lovely card. So the 9 of Wands looks like there might be some work attached to it. The 9 of Cups looks like the work's been done and you can kind of relax into things. And I wonder if this is a reflection of some of what I was saying earlier about what I've been finding in my practice recently, that by recommitting to it or approaching it in a new way, I was just reminded of the truth that there is enough. I am enough. I'm in alignment, and I think this is a card that's reminding us that that's true for everybody here, that you are enough, there is enough, and you're in alignment. And because there's prosperity in this card. And this card is sometimes described as the your wishes granted card as well. With the cups, I like to do gratitude work when the cups come up. Some of you who have done the daily tarot meditation ritual course will have recognised some of the gratitude practices in that course. And this really is an invitation to recognise all the full cups that you have. And also that, you know, there is enough to share. That's another message of this card. I always see this person sitting there in the centre. They're quite prosperous, and they might be proud of that. They might be proud of the cups, however they came about them. Maybe they won them, maybe they're trophies. But if someone drops round, they have a full cup to share with them. So whether that's, you know, that you can invite your friends round for a cup of tea, You have something to offer, to share, and that's not going to take anything away from you. So there is plenty to go around is a big truth in this card as well. So practicing that gratitude for all you have, and recognizing that it's not zero sum. You can have all these cups without taking away from anyone else, and you can share what's in your cups without them having to take it away from you. That's a nice truth to be given this week, I think. And then purpose. So, you know, how aligned are we with our purpose? And how do all of these practices and truths and everything else in this reading so far lead us to our purpose? And there we go, that's all the 4 minor arcana suits. And we've got a major arcana, that's all the suits there for the reading, a nice balanced reading. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles is the suit of the earth, so is about the physical and the material a lot. And this is a slow night. Look at these. I'm going to get that Knight of Swords back for you for a moment, because I want you to see them together. Got that Knight of Swords charging in, and then that Knight of Pentacles moving so slowly they might even have stopped. So this is a slow night. And I wonder if this is perhaps why we can get away with all that action and forward movement of the Knight of Swords this week, because we have got that Knight of Pentacles there grounding us as well. And in terms of purpose, the Knight of Pentacles invites us to take slow baby steps, so we can still be reaching our purpose and stop to enjoy the journey. We can still be achieving our purpose and stop to enjoy the journey. We can move slowly and appreciate every step, every movement, and still be walking or moving towards our purpose. So yes, it's a week for moving forwards, and even if there's a lot achieved this week, you don't have to hit the final goalpost this week. You can take your time. You can take as much time as necessary, and that allows you some space for care as well. So one of the less useful traits of the Knight of Swords sometimes can be a little bit of carelessness, but in the position that the Knight is in, and with this Knight of Pentacles, we're invited to take time and take care, and things take as long as they take, but that doesn't mean you're not achieving your purpose or moving towards your purpose. It just means that this is the journey towards your purpose. Okay, resources. What resources are available to us this week? Another Pentacles card. It's the Queen of Pentacles. I'm so happy she showed up. As I mentioned earlier, that's my card for the year, so I do appreciate her when she does come around. And so in terms of resources, what's available to us, again, the Queen of Pentacles takes care of herself and her own resources. So the Queen of Pentacles invites you to do things which care for your body. And they can be very simple things like rest, sleep. Rest and sleep, maybe they're the same. I must be really needing it. But no, rest, sleep, nutrition, exercise, within your abilities, within what's right for you. These are important resources that can help us tend to ourselves. And, you know, we now know through science what people have always known, that very small changes, like getting enough sleep and eating properly exercising in whatever way that you can. Do improve your overall well-being, and your body, brain, everything improves with these little ways of looking after yourself. So these are resources. And the Queen of Pentacles can manage material resources, well, any resources, but being of Pentacles, specifically material resources, very well. So you know, having come up in this position of resources, what we have here is, again, very similar actually. Here with the Nine of Wands, we had that message that we don't need to look for more resources somewhere else, but to use or repurpose the resources that we already have. And the Queen of Pentacles says that as well, you know, manage the resources that you have well. So whether that is material resources, your health, your body, your money, your home, your possessions, these all fall under material resources. These are good things to manage and to use well. So really what she's telling us is that the resources you need this week and the resources that can help you this week are already within your reach, within your realm of possibility. And it's just about making sure you know what resources you have available to you and using them well, using them carefully. Guidance for this week. It's another night. We've got 3 nights now. That's interesting. So this is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is a dreamer, moving at a pace somewhere between that Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. And following, they're holding their cup up in front of them, almost like they're following it. So this Knight, you know, very, very simply tells you to follow your heart or to follow your dreams. And that's a really nice piece of guidance to get, actually. You know, follow what is in your heart, follow what has meaning to you. And this is, it's a permission and a reminder, because we all know that really anyway, don't we? It's, you know, it's not news to follow your heart, listen to your heart. I'm not the first person ever to have said this, right? But this is a reminder. The Knight of Cups is reminding us that that is possible and that that's important. So this week you might literally pay attention to your actual dreams if you remember your dreams. Some people keep a dream diary where when they wake up, where they write them down. You might literally pay attention to how you feel in the area of your heart. You might pay attention to the emotions that you have. And you might even take some time to really listen. You know, what is important to you? What is in your heart? What are your dreams? You know, if we're going to go out achieving things this week, might as well be our dreams that we're achieving, right? So you know, what are your dreams, and are you on the path to them? So there we go, 3rd night, holding the space for us. And because we have 3 nights, I will just mention that the knights are questers. You know, the kings and queens in a court, we've got an emperor and a queen here in the reading, would stay usually in the court. But the knights go out and they go on quests, and they might go on individual quests, they might go out together. But they're questers, so we have a real invitation to tap into what our own quest is this week. And then the final card, how are you? With all of this energy around for us, how are you? How do you come to the week? And what do you bring to this picture to add to this picture? And look at this, it's another major arcana card, it's justice. So you see the people in this card are being called to go up, to go higher. So this, sorry, I said justice, I meant judgment, of course. This is a card of, can't say leveling up anymore, it's been taken. This is a card of going higher, of transcending, of improving, and often it's about sort of spiritual improvement or access to, let's call it access to a different spiritual reality or awareness. Jocelyn, rebirth, thank you, that's a wonderful word. So it comes after perhaps a period of transformation, and it does invite us to go to have a larger or a more or different awareness. And so it's really, really a nice card to come up for this reading with all of these other cards around, because we've been invited to quest. We've been invited to achieve. We've been invited to enjoy the journey and to use the resources that we have. And what this is really all about for us this week is that this is about our spiritual journey, whatever that may be, because I know that everyone may not be on the same journey, and you know, that's part of this truth here, isn't it, that there's enough for everyone and we don't all have to be on the same journey. But we do have a week which is meaningful for us in terms of the lessons that we learn in life and the sort of meaning that we have, that we find, and the spiritual connection that we have. And this is what we bring into the week. This is what our quest is about. So a nice, meaningful week for us here. I'll just take a sip of water and then I shall go ahead and summarise the reading. Okay, so where to start? Our objective for the week is to achieve. We have the Knight of Swords there. And for consistency, we have the Emperor. So we can be supported in our achievements by wisdom and structures and things that are in place from people who have already done this before, including ourselves. Commitment this week. Use the resources that we have. It's the Nine of Wands. Use the resources that we have to help us to achieve what we want to achieve. The truth is, Nine of Cups, there is plenty to go around. There is abundance, and you already have what you wish for. You just need to recognize it and appreciate it. And purpose, we have the Knight of Cups. We are on the way to achieving our purpose, and it will take as long as it takes. And we are still always moving in a direction that brings us more into alignment with our purpose, closer to achieving our purpose. Resources, Queen of Pentacles. We, again, as that Nine of Wands told us, use the resources that we have already. We don't need anything else. What we need to do is to manage what we have in a way that directs us towards what we want to achieve. Guidance, Knight of Cups, follow your heart, follow your dreams, and all those knights together here telling us that this is a week for questing. And then how are you? What do you bring in? Judgment, and really that this quest that we're on this week is a quest about meaning, about transcendence, about transformational rebirth, going up to the next level in some way. So that's our reading for the week. Thank you very much for joining me.